Hello and welcome to another session of lessons from my mother. We are on lesson 45, almost to the 50 mark. I have crossed the halfway point of the total number of lessons, and I'm sure to interview some of my other friends around Montreal and maybe in England and across the world eventually, so I can have a whole 100 before we start getting ready to publish it into a book, which I will co-author with my mother. And I think, inshallah, that would be one of the greatest achievements of my life, even if I do become prime minister or head of state. Um, Lesson number 45 is an interesting one. It says no easy mode. It could also mean no easy mode in life. So my mum has never been an advocate for taking the easy route. Now, how it relates to God and provisions and incentivization, divine incentivization, that's a whole different story. I'll get to that later. But my mum hasn't ever advocated for, oh yeah, why do you want to study art and not science? For example, I'm not saying one or the other. Why do you want to study art and not science? And I said, art is easier for me. Okay, cool. Great. Great. Go with what is easy. Now, instead, what I do remember, everything every single time has been about finding and planning what a certain thing today will contribute to in the future. Every single time is the same story. So, Mum, I want to study French. Okay, why? I like the language. Okay, and well, I think it may help me with my career. Okay, how? Well, I want to be an architect. Okay, and I want to read French books. No, not good enough. Okay, I want to be an architect and I want to work in France. Do you think you'll be able to work in France just like that? No, then no. Give me a stronger reason. And I'd say something like, well, it expands my opportunities for working across the world. So if you're a francophone or French speaker, you can work in a lot of countries, particularly in Western Europe, in Northern Africa, because French is the language. And the Middle East, obviously, Lebanon, Tunisia, Morocco, not Egypt. We're missing a couple. Anyway, we know. So Algeria. So I could work there, and then she'd say, "Okay, tell me more." And I'd say, "Well, I want to learn this, and I think I can spend 2 years doing it, and I know it's difficult, and I know it's that." And she said, "It doesn't matter if it's difficult. It never matters if it's difficult. All that matters is whether you want to do it and whether you have sufficient reasoning to do it and whether you have enough grit to see it through. Because there's no point in starting something and then not following through. Otherwise, what's the point of starting it?" And this was the follow through was one of the centerpieces of everything that she's taught us, to build good ideas into routines and habits so they don't feel difficult. They just feel like part of your normal life, like brushing your teeth. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, "I can't wait to brush my teeth or wash my face or shave or run." You can extrapolate that reluctance to anything. I don't feel like eating. I don't feel like cooking. Oh, but you must. I don't feel like cleaning, but you must. So this idea of no easy mode was predicated on this human nature, I would say, where children in particular feel like, "I don't feel like going to school." It doesn't matter what you feel like. What matters is what the longer vision is, what your duty as a human, as a son, as a student, and so forth. Duty is very important in not only in our family, but also in our religion, in our culture, in our country. Especially pre-colonization. It's a word that we're losing or have lost a while ago, post World War II, I would say, and maybe we need to bring back. But in my family, the word is quite heavily mentioned. That no, this is your duty now. Now you've taken the responsibility. Now it's your duty to fulfill it, and so forth. So no easy mode would be that. So I'd convince her that this is why I need to learn French and that's why I'd be able to do it. And she'd say, okay, write that down and remember that every time you face something difficult in the learning of the language, you can go back to why you're doing it in the first place. It's interesting that my mum would teach us these things for free because now Tony Robbins says it and Jordan Peterson says it, and what's that other fellow? Oh, I'm forgetting his name. There's a few other internet gurus in the business and the psychology world and in the self-development world who always say, oh, write it down and go back to it. Not even that. When I joined Oxford, we had a first meeting with all our professors and all the students in the group and in our degree, and they said, I want you to take a moment and think about an activity that you like doing in your free time and you enjoy it. So a couple of my friends said they like running. Great. One of my friends said he liked reading Enid Blyton novels. I think he was just trolling, or maybe he actually meant it. And I said I like playing the piano, which is true. In my free time, I have a keyboard back there. I just like sitting and playing. And then she said, all right, can you narrow down or summarize that activity into one word? And we said, okay. So I wrote piano, and my friend wrote Blyton, and my other friend wrote running, or some wrote tea. And she said, okay, you're at Oxford. It's the best university in the world. For years, it's been the top of Times Higher Education, QS, all the rankings. It's the best. So it's not going to be easy, but you're here and we've selected you. So every time it's difficult and you feel like giving up, go back to that word and try to remember how it feels to embody that word. And then live it. So if life is difficult, go back and play music. So I would rent the music room at Wolfson College, Oxford, which was my college. And I would play the piano as much as I could. A, because I couldn't have one in my room. But B, because the university had a piano, the college had a piano, and I could go and play as much as I liked. So I would play and play and play. And I would book at least an hour every other day. And I'd play it. And I know my friends would go running and do other things. And that really helped. And when she said that, I remembered, my mum used to say the same thing. But my mum doesn't teach at the best university in the world. She's now retired. She's a doctor, medical and MPhil. But she's retired and she's at home and she's relaxed. But she would teach us these things for free. No self-help books, no guidance, nothing. She would just say, oh, do this. Maybe do this. Because she understands human nature and she understands her children. And my mum's an incredibly hard worker. I'm so blessed to be her son, and I'm so grateful to have her as a mother because she is incredibly hardworking. Incredibly. She's a Capricorn, obviously, so I know most Capricorns are like that. And those who deny astrology, I grant you that some of it could be wrongly utilized, but I've been studying it for a long time and I see merit in it. So my mum is very detailed and step-by-step kind of building everything that I've done in life. Like currently, I just came back from a 17,885. Oh, you can't see it. Anyway, 17,885 step run walk. I started running at 8:30 and I kept running till around 10. And it's an hour and a half almost. That's not easy. The first 15 minutes are like, oh, what am I doing in my life? What is this? Oh, it's so hot. I'm so tired. My back, my legs, my knees. And a lot of runners would tell you, I don't even consider myself a runner yet. I used to be a sprinter when I was younger, but I'm not a runner yet. I need to be able to run comfortably before I say, I'm a runner. I've only been running since September last year, so 9 months. But it was difficult and I kept pushing and pushing and I was able to achieve it. It wasn't easy, but I've told this before to my friends, to my audiences. When I started running, I could run 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. I would run up and I'd be like, I'm so out of breath. I can't run it anymore. And now I'm running an hour 30. And hopefully before the end of this year, I'll be running 2 hours nonstop. So, but it starts from the little building up and this understanding of no easy mode. There's no easy mode in life. If you just want to skirt by, if you just want to chill and relax, well, maybe let's not continue talking. Let's not be friends. None of my friends are these chilled out, relaxed, easy, yo, yeah, man, just chilling. I don't have any friends like that. Not a single one. I had one in university who was chiller than most, and he turned out to be a smart software genius who works insanely long hours and has found a wonderful balance between his love of relaxation and music and art and really focusing and working incredibly hard. And he told me, I was with him around this time last year. I was at his home, and he said, "Man, I used to be so relaxed, and I just figured out how good I can be without breaking myself into two. So I figured out ways to get better and better and better and better. And now the free time that I have, which isn't much, but whatever I have, I go back to relaxing, to music, to dancing." And I said, "Yeah, I can see that. I'm so proud of you. All my friends are this. They're, they're ruthless, they're hard, driving, determined, gritty, driven, everything. Leaders, all of them are leaders. All of them can change the world. And I'm not bigging myself up by saying that, to quote whoever used the term big yourself up. Or Ali G, big up yourself. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is those are the people around me, and those are the values that my mother has taught me, and their mothers have taught them, and that's the value that we function on. That we decide if something needs to be done, we're going to do it, and we're always going after things that are, oh, I want that. That is what I want. I don't want just this. I'm grateful for being alive. I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful for having a place to stay. I'm grateful for having food, clothes, personal connections, source of income. I'm grateful for all of them. And I thank the Lord and thank my parents and thank everyone who's had a role to play in that. But I want more. And it's always not sufficient. I'm thinking of a different word. Suitable, appropriate, appropriate. No, warranted. It's warranted to want more. So I speak to some runners, actual runners, who are really good ones. One is my professor, Ari Vanash, shout out. One is Theo Caboliu, who's a good friend of mine, another shout out. They're both incredible ultra runners. And I speak to them all the time and I say, okay, I can do this much now. What do I do? Do I just keep going longer? And they said, sure, go longer, run for 2 hours. And then after you've ran 2 hours, let's say you run 30 kilometers in 2 hours. Now, try to run the same distance in less than 2 hours. When you're able to do that, then extend the time back to 2 hours and then back and it never stops. It's never, oh, I just run an hour a day. That's it. I don't do anything else. No, it's always, even in the hour a day, you try to keep making changes. You're improving all the time. And you can't have that if you're living life on easy mode. And what do I mean by easy mode? Let me tell you. And I'll tell you what my mum meant as well. Go to work. No, there are easier modes than that. There is an easy mode where you wake up, smoke a joint, play video games, gain weight, eat unhealthily, don't have a career or even a job. Have some social relationships, personal connections. Many of them may not be going anywhere. That's it. That could be one of the easiest modes. They may be easier, but that could be one of the easiest modes. But there are others where you go to work, you come back home, you order out, eat, sleep. That's it. You don't focus on your personal hygiene. You don't focus on your fitness. You don't focus on your health. You don't focus on your family, parental, and you're developing your own. You don't focus on developing deep, meaningful friendships. You don't focus on your society. You don't focus on charity. You don't focus on spirituality, sociology, psychology. You don't focus on any of that. You go to work, you come back, and you sleep. If you can do that for 1 year, great. Well done. You were able to hold on to a job and perform well. Well done. If you do it for 2 years, after a while, you should say to yourself, can I do more? If I have reached the top of my profession, great, I'm earning enough money. What else can I do with myself? I have standardized the specialized occupations, which means I've automated operations. It's optimization, right? So now I can do my work much easier than I did the first month. Great. What now? Well, I'm earning enough money. Maybe I can partake in my community. No, I don't mean religious, ethnic. I just where I live, my neighborhood. Or maybe I can give a bit of charity. Maybe I can join a soup kitchen. Maybe I could look after my health. Maybe I can learn how to cook so I don't have to order out every day. Maybe I can clean better. Maybe I can look after my hygiene. Maybe I can say to my parents, look, I'm earning good money. Why didn't you come and stay with me? Let me look after you. Well, just like you look after me my whole life. Maybe I could do that. If not that, maybe I could develop a personal relationship with someone and develop that further and say, hey, I care about you. I want to develop this. Something has to happen. If it's just easy mode and it's static. Now, some people may make the case that you go through the difficulty to reach easy mode and you automate that. Systems like passive income generation or periodic friendships that are easy and breezy. That's an outlier argument, and I'll tell you why. Because very few people do this hard, struggling work for 5, 10, 15 years to reach a stage where they can generate passive income and have these relationships which are functioning on automatic or autopilot. Very few people are able to do that. And would you really like to live a life that is on autopilot? You must have friendships which are growing and developing. They can't be static. Being static doesn't really help. And this is something which I just realized this morning while I was running. Because sometimes people confuse being static with peace. And peace is not static. Peace is static and dynamic at the same time. Peace is loud and quiet at the same time. Peace is still and moving at the same time. And I'll give you an example because I was running next to the Lachine Canal, which is very central to Montreal. It's a very important part. I was running next to it. I was watching, and because I had been running down roads and through parks, and I was sweating, and it was hot, and it was difficult. And I was running next to the canal. And when you run next to water, it's one of the best feelings. I was running next to the water, and I saw, this is so peaceful. This water is so peaceful. Being here, because I've been running on the road and in the park and with animals and people on the road and everything. I've been running, and this is so peaceful, but the water isn't static. The water is still moving. I don't know what he match is saying on LinkedIn. Why would you? Oh, thank you. Okay. Why does it say he match? Oh, I can't show you a comment. Show his comment. Oh, their comment. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very kind of you to say. So that water was always moving. If you've ever been next to a canal or a lake, is the lake peaceful? Yes. Is the lake static? No. You can always see that. Greetings from Toronto. Thank you. Thank you. I will be in touch. I haven't heard of. It's showing me a different name, maybe, but thank you so much. I will be in touch. This is very interesting. So the water is in movement, but it's peaceful. So living life on easy mode or finding a static in life is not the same as finding peace. And you can ask that to anyone who's found peace, whether it's a yogi or a monk or somebody in the business world or somebody on the road. If they've found peace, you can ask them and they tell you, no. Just living life as it is isn't the answer. You must always find ways to improve yourself all the time. So I was watching, what's his name? Bradley Cooper. I was watching him at an interview. I forget who it was with. And the guy said, you're working so hard, you're doing so well, blah, blah, blah. And Bradley said, look, I just want to do better work. I want each day to be better. I just want to do better work. And when he said it, I was watching and I said, that man has summarized everything into a phrase. Do better work. And very similar to what my mama said, no easy mode. Better can never be static. As a definition, it may be, but in its semantics or in its meaning, it's never static because it's always moving from the status quo. Better than the previous, and it always goes up. Do better work. So, my advice to everyone who would ever see this uh, regarding my mother's lesson, consider where you are in life. Look at it and see what you want to change. Change it. See things that you'd like to change but are difficult to change. Change them. See things that others close to you have told you to change, but you don't want to. Change one of them. Start changing them step by step. Eventually, you'd get in the habit of breaking away barriers which were holding you back. And you'll realize, wow, I was really just surfing through life. And now I don't have to. Now I can keep getting better and better. Oh, my good man. Oh, I have to say his name. Robert Berry. Ladies and gents, this gentleman right here, Robert Berry, give him a follow, find him on LinkedIn or whatever platforms, or whatever other platforms he's using. Robert Berry is a superstar. You have to, you have to, you have to hear him speak. I'm not going to copy you, Rob. I'm not going to copy you because I'm so tempted to every time. No, don't do it. Oh, my face is gonna go. Now, every time I'm so tempted to do his voice because he has a great microphone in here. I'm not doing it. He has a great speaking voice. So please give Robert Berry a follow and hear his content. I love his work. And we have to talk, Rob. Let's talk soon. I'm going to stop here, 22 minutes. I was hoping to stop at 15. Try not to live life on an easy mode. Try to challenge yourself and try to get better every single day. Do better work. And I think if you just start there, you'll realize that very soon, you will be where you want to be. So stopping here. Take care.